The salvage ship, Cinder Dove, drifted through the debris field, surrounding Arigal 9, its hull scarred from countless runs through hostile space. Maya Tran adjusted the scanner array, watching the readouts flicker across her display. 700 years after the Great Collapse, human technology was considered little more than scrap metal by the galactic community. Another day, another haul of worthless human junk, she muttered, guiding the ship's mechanical arms toward a twisted piece of hull plating. The year 3027 marked exactly 7 centuries since humanity's pioneer era, when Earth's children had first reached for the stars. Now, those same stars looked down on humanity with contempt. Maya had grown accustomed to the sneers of the Gel Alliance representatives at Xeno Station, their crystalline bodies radiating condescension whenever she brought in human artifacts. The Gel controlled most of the galaxy's advanced technology, their biomechanical fusion creating devices that made human engineering look primitive. At least, that's what everyone believed. The scanner chimed, highlighting an object, half buried in the remnants of an ancient space station. Maya maneuvered the Cinder Dove. Closer, her practiced eye assessing the potential value. It appeared to be a cylindrical module, no bigger than her forearm, its surface covered in the familiar geometric patterns of human design. Probably another navigation computer, she said to herself, extending the retrieval arm. Maybe worth enough for a week's rations. As the mechanical claw closed around the device, unexpected energy readings spiked across her console. The module's surface began to glow with a soft blue light, intricate symbols appearing along its length. Maya's breath caught in her throat as the symbols resolved into coordinates pointing to a sector known as the Silent Nebula. What the hell? She ran a full spectrum analysis on the device, but the readings defied explanation. The energy signature was unlike anything in the galactic database, yet it was undeniably human in origin. A comm signal crackled to life. Salvage vessel, this is Gel Patrol Cruiser, Sovereign. You are operating in restricted space. Prepare for inspection. Maya cursed under her breath. Gel patrols meant trouble, especially when they caught her with unauthorized salvage. She quickly stowed the glowing module in a hidden compartment, its light fading as soon as she broke contact with it. The Sovereign dwarfed the Cinder Dove, its organic curves and crystalline growths, marking it as one of the Gel's newer vessels. Maya watched 3 figures materialize on her docking platform in shimmers of blue light, 2 Gel officers and a human collaborator. Commander Dran, the lead Gel officer, undulated forward on his serpentine lower body, his upper torso maintaining perfect posture. Captain Tran, your salvage manifest, please. Maya handed over the datapad, keeping her expression neutral. Dran's companion, a human, named Vasquez, smirked as he scanned the list. More human garbage, Vasquez said. Amazing how your people cling to these worthless relics. One being's garbage is another's treasure, Maya replied evenly. Dran's multifaceted eyes fixed on her. Indeed. We trust you understand the penalties for removing items of historical significance without proper authorization. Everything I take is logged and reported to Xeno Station, Maya lied smoothly. After a tense 20 minutes, the Gel Patrol departed. Maya waited until their ship disappeared into hyperspace before retrieving the mysterious module. The moment she touched it, holographic displays erupted around her cockpit, filling the air with star charts, technical schematics, and streams of data in ancient human script. Among the chaos of information, one designation stood out: Vault 287, Pioneer Era Repository, classified Ultra Black. Maya's hands trembled as she traced the coordinates. Vault 287 was located deep in the Silent Nebula, a region avoided by most spacefaring species due to its treacherous magnetic storms and gravitational anomalies. But if the data was accurate, the vault contained something significant enough to warrant such extreme security measures. The decision formed in her mind before she could second-guess herself. She needed help, someone who understood both human technology and the political landscape of the galaxy. There was only one person she trusted for such a task. 3 days later, Maya met Elvin Kor in a dingy cantina on the outer rim of Xeno Station. The former Tarko military officer looked older than his 45 years, his distinctive scaled skin bearing scars from conflicts long past. The Tarko had been humanity's first and most steadfast allies after the Great Collapse, sharing exile and hardship in equal measure. "You're taking a hell of a risk contacting me," Elvin said, his voice a low rasp. "The Gel have been monitoring anyone with connections to pre-collapse research." Maya slid the module across the table, watching Elvin's eyes widen as it began to glow in response to his touch. "Tell me that's not worth the risk." Elvin studied the readouts, his military training evident in the systematic way he analyzed the data. "Vault 287. I've heard whispers about it. Legend says it was one of the last installations built before the collapse, containing archives from the Diaspora Project." "The what?" "Humanity's first expansion into deep space. Most records were lost, but there were rumors of a shadow program, something called the First Expansion. Scientists, engineers, the best minds of the era, working on projects that supposedly violate several laws of physics." Maya leaned forward. "And you believe this leads to their vault?" "I believe we're about to find out." Elvin's expression hardened. "But we won't be the only ones interested. Word travels fast in the salvage community, and if the Gel get wind of this—" As if summoned by his words, the cantina's lights flickered. Through the viewport, Maya saw the unmistakable silhouette of a Gel cruiser approaching the station. But this wasn't a patrol vessel. It was a heavy research ship, the kind deployed for archaeological expeditions. "Time to go," Maya whispered. They left separately, Maya returning to the Cinder Dove, while Elvin gathered supplies and intelligence. Within hours, they were racing through hyperspace toward the Silent Nebula, the mysterious module secured in a shielded container. The journey to the Silent Nebula took 4 standard days, during which Maya and Elvin worked to decode more of the module's data. The device revealed its secrets reluctantly, each new activation providing another piece of the puzzle. They learned of a vast human civilization that had spread across dozens of star systems, their technology advancing at an unprecedented rate. "Look at these power distribution networks," Elvin said, pointing at a holographic schematic. "They're routing energy through folded space-time. That's theoretical physics even the Gel haven't mastered." "If humans had this technology, why did we fall?" Maya asked. "Maybe we didn't fall. Maybe we chose to." The edge of the Silent Nebula loomed before them, a roiling mass of pink and purple gases, shot through with electrical discharges. The Cinder Dove's instruments struggled to penetrate the electromagnetic interference, forcing Maya to navigate by instinct and ancient stellar landmarks. Halfway through the nebula, they encountered the first hazard. A massive derelict station drifted through the gas clouds. Its hull bore the unmistakable markings of human construction, but the design was unlike anything Maya had seen, sleek, organic curves that seemed almost alive. "Another Pioneer-era station," Elvin observed. "But the architecture is different." Maya guided them closer, her curiosity overriding caution. The station's docking bays were still functional magnetic clamps engaging with their approach. As they explored the abandoned corridors, emergency lighting activated, revealing walls covered with murals depicting humanity's expansion among the stars. In the central command center, they found another piece of the puzzle, a partial record of the Diaspora Project. Dr. Sarah Chen, the project's lead scientist, had documented their work on something called architect-class technologies devices that could reshape matter at the molecular level, create stable wormholes, and harness the fundamental forces of the universe. The first expansion wasn't just about spreading humanity across space, Maya realized. It was about becoming something more. They were so absorbed in their discovery that they almost missed the approaching ships. 3 vessels emerged from the nebula's deeper regions, 2 bearing Gel markings, and 1 that was completely unfamiliar, its hull, a matte black that seemed to absorb light. "We have company," Maya announced, rushing back to the Cinder Dove. The gel ships moved to intercept, but the black vessel was faster. It opened fire on the gel with weapons that caused space itself to ripple and distort. Maya didn't wait to see the outcome. She fired the engines and dove deeper into the nebula. "Who are they?" she called over the engine noise. "I've seen those ships before," Elvin replied grimly. "They belong to the cult of the Architects, a secretive organization that's been searching for pioneer-era technology for centuries. They believe the ancient humans were something called builders, or architects, who created the foundations of galactic civilization." The chase through the nebula was harrowing. Gravitational eddies threatened to tear the ship apart, while electrical storms fried their navigation systems. The gel ships fell behind, unable to match the Cinder Dove's maneuverability. But the cult vessel stayed with them, occasionally taking shots that came uncomfortably close. Finally, the module in Maya's hands began to pulse urgently. Following its guidance, she navigated to a seemingly empty region of space, where stars should have been visible through the thinning gas. Instead, something shimmered into view as they approached a massive structure that had been hidden by some form of cloaking field. Vault 287 was a wonder to behold. The facility was enormous, easily the size of a small moon, its surface covered with the same organic-looking architecture they'd seen on the derelict station. But this structure was alive with energy conduits, pulsing with light beneath its translucent hull. "My God," Elvin whispered. "Look at the size of it." Maya felt the module pulling her forward, its glow intensifying as they approached a docking bay that opened like a flower in response to their presence. The Cinder Dove settled into the bay with surprising gentleness, the station's systems automatically adjusting atmospheric pressure and temperature. They emerged into a vast hangar filled with ships of impossible design vessels that looked grown rather than built, their hulls incorporating technologies that shouldn't exist. Everything was perfectly preserved, as if waiting for their return. The module led them deeper into the facility, through corridors lined with murals, depicting the rise and fall of human civilization. Maya began to understand the story. They told humanity hadn't been the backward species everyone believed. 700 years ago, humans had been the architects of galactic civilization, their technology so advanced it bordered on the supernatural. At the center of the vault, they found a vast chamber containing the repository itself, a crystalline structure that pulsed with inner light. As Maya approached with the module, the crystal responded panels sliding open to reveal a complex interface covered in human symbols. "This is it," she said, placing her hand on the interface. The chamber exploded with light as the vault's systems activated. Holographic displays surrounded them, showing the complete history of the pioneer era, the real history that had been hidden for 7 centuries. Maya watched in awe as the truth unfolded before her. Humanity hadn't fallen due to war or disaster. They had achieved something unprecedented: true mastery over the fundamental forces of reality. But with that power came terrible responsibility. The ancient humans had foreseen that their technology, if misused, could unravel the very fabric of spacetime. Faced with this knowledge, the pioneers had made the ultimate sacrifice. They had dismantled their civilization, scattered their technology across the galaxy, and retreated to the edges of known space. They left behind only fragments enough for other species to build upon, but never enough to repeat humanity's near-catastrophic mistake. The Gel Alliance, the Tarko expansion, even the rise of the galactic trade networks, all of it built on the foundations left by ancient humanity. The irony was devastating. For 7 centuries, the galaxy had progressed by standing on human shoulders, while mocking human achievement. "We were the architects," Maya breathed understanding, flooding through her. "We built all of this." But their moment of revelation was shattered by the arrival of their pursuers. The gel ships entered the hangar bay, first followed by the black vessel of the cult. Through the chamber's transparent walls, Maya could see armed figures pouring out of the ships. "We can't let them have this," Elvin said, drawing his weapon. Maya's mind raced. The vault contained enough technology to reshape galactic civilization, but in the wrong hands, it could also destroy it. She looked at the interface where new options were appearing, including a transmission array that could broadcast the vault's data across the entire galaxy. Then we won't, she decided, her fingers dancing across the controls. The first blast doors leading to the chamber blew open just as Maya initiated the broadcast sequence. Commander Dran led a squad of gel soldiers, while figures in black armor followed close behind members of the Cult of the Architects. Both groups stopped short at the sight of the activated repository, their ancient rivalry temporarily forgotten. "Step away from the interface, human," Dran commanded, his weapon trained on Maya. A cult warrior, their face hidden behind a featureless mask, raised their own weapon. "The knowledge of the Builders belongs to us. We are their chosen heirs." Maya laughed bitterly. "Chosen heirs? You've spent centuries worshipping humanity, while simultaneously denying our achievements. And you," she turned to Dran, "your entire civilization is built on human foundations." "Lies," Dran hissed. "Human technology is primitive, inferior." "To what?" Maya interrupted, gesturing at the marvels surrounding them. "This vault alone could power 1,000 worlds. The ships in your hangar bay operate on principles your scientists barely understand. Everything you think you know about galactic history is wrong." The broadcast reached 30% completion. Maya could feel the vault systems straining under the effort of transmitting such vast amounts of data across interstellar distances. "The knowledge is too dangerous," the cult warrior said. "It must be contained, protected. Only we understand the true nature of the Builders' sacrifice. Their sacrifice was to prevent this knowledge from being hoarded." Elvin countered, moving to cover Maya. "They scattered it precisely, so no one group could control it." 50%. The repository's crystal pulsed brighter, data streams flowing like rivers of light. Dran made his decision first, lunging toward the interface. Elvin intercepted him, and the chamber erupted into chaos. Gel soldiers clashed with cult warriors while Maya frantically protected the transmission array. 70%. The vault's automated defenses activated sealing blast doors and isolating the chamber. Warning lights bathed everything in red as ancient security protocols engaged. "The transmission cannot be stopped," the vault's AI announced in perfect archaic English. "Pioneer Protocol 7 is in effect. All personnel must evacuate immediately." 90%. Maya felt the module in her hand grow burning hot, its purpose nearly fulfilled. "What have you done?" Dran snarled, abandoning his fight with Elvin. "What should have been done 700 years ago," Maya replied, as the transmission reached completion. Across the galaxy, on millions of worlds and thousands of space stations, the truth of human achievement burst simultaneously into existence. Research databases, communication networks, even entertainment systems carried the flood of data. The complete technical specifications of architect-class technology, the real history of galactic expansion, the truth about the Great Collapse, all of it now freely available to every sapient being in known space. The vault's crystal dimmed as the transmission ended its purpose, finally fulfilled. But the facility's automated systems were far from finished. With Pioneer Protocol 7 active, the vault began its final phase, total sterilization, to prevent any one group from claiming its physical resources. "Everyone out!" Maya shouted. "The whole place is going to lock down." The former combatants fled together, their differences momentarily forgotten in the face of certain death. They raced through corridors that were sealing themselves past chambers filling with sterilization plasma, toward the hangar bay, where their ships waited. The Cinder Dove launched just as the final blast doors slammed shut. Behind them, Vault 287 disappeared, back into its cloaking field, now truly hidden until the universe saw fit to reveal it again. In the aftermath, as the three ships limped out of the silent nebula, Maya and Elvin found themselves in an unexpected position. The Gel and cult forces, stunned by the revelation about human heritage, made no move to attack. Instead, they opened communication channels. "The data you transmitted," Dran said slowly, The technical specifications alone will advance our understanding by centuries. If the historical records are accurate, the cult representative added, then we have spent generations misunderstanding our place in the galaxy. Maya nodded, feeling the weight of history settling around her. Our ancestors chose to step back rather than dominate. Maybe it's time we all learned from that wisdom. The return journey to Xeno Station was surreal. News of the transmission had already begun. Spreading governments were scrambling to analyze the data scientists were confirming. Technologies they'd thought impossible, historians were rewriting textbooks. The revelation that humanity had once been the galaxy's supreme civilization was reshaping every aspect of interstellar society. On Xeno Station, Maya found herself at the center of a political storm. The Gel Alliance was fragmenting as member species questioned centuries of assumed technological superiority. The cult of the architects had publicly dissolved their members, either disappearing or dedicating themselves to sharing rather than hoarding knowledge. But perhaps the most significant change was in how other species looked at humans and Tarko. The condescension was gone, replaced by wonder, fear, and grudging respect. Some worlds immediately upgraded human settlement status, while others imposed new restrictions, fearing a resurgence of the architect builders. Elvin found himself appointed as liaison between the emerging human-Tarko coalition and various galactic governments. They want to know if we retained any of the old technology, he told Maya during one of their meetings. If we could return to our former power level. Maya looked out at the stars from her cabin, aboard the Cinder Dove. The ship had been upgraded with funds from governments eager for human cooperation, but she'd kept it essentially the same. Our ancestors gave that up for a reason. The question isn't whether we could reclaim that power, it's whether we should. The module that had started it all sat on her desk, now dormant, but still beautiful in its simplicity. It had accomplished its purpose, serving as the key to unlock humanity's true heritage. But Maya knew that the real work was just beginning. Across the galaxy, research teams consisting of humans, Tarkogel, and dozens of other species were collaborating on projects that would have been impossible just months ago. The artificial barriers between civilizations were crumbling, replaced by a new understanding of their shared heritage. Maya stood on the observation deck, watching a joint human-gel research vessel dock with the station. Scientists emerged, chattering excitedly, in a mixture of languages about breakthrough discoveries in quantum architecture and temporal engineering. For the first time in 7 centuries, the galaxy was truly united in its quest for knowledge. The irony wasn't lost on her. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't the mastery of space and time, it was the wisdom to give it up. And now, perhaps they could help guide the galaxy toward a future where such power could be wielded responsibly. Elvan joined her at the viewport. Any regrets about not keeping the vault's secrets to ourselves? Maya smiled, thinking of her ancestors, who had made the ultimate sacrifice to protect the universe from destructive power. Our people spent 700 years being underestimated. I think it's time the galaxy learned what humans are really capable of, both creating wonders and knowing when to walk away from them. As the Cinder Dove prepared for its next salvage run, Maya felt a sense of completion. The debris fields still held secrets, and somewhere out there, other vaults might wait to be discovered. But now, she wasn't just a scavenger picking through humanity's past. She was a guardian of its future, ensuring that the wisdom of the ancestors would guide the galaxy toward a better tomorrow. The stars that had once looked down on humanity with contempt now shone with possibility. And in the quiet of her ship, surrounded by the vast emptiness of space, Maya felt connected to every human who had ever looked up at the night sky and dreamed of reaching the stars. 700 years after the Great Collapse, humanity's true legacy was finally revealed. They had been the architects of galactic civilization, and now they would help guide its next chapter. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but perhaps the greatest wonder of all was the wisdom to use power responsibly. Maya, Trans-Salvager turned guardian of humanity's heritage, settled into her captain's chair, and plotted a course for the outer rim. There were more secrets to uncover, more bridges to build between species, and more wonders to discover. The galaxy would never be the same, and that she thought was exactly as it should be. In the end, the aliens had mocked human technology because they didn't understand its true nature. It wasn't primitive. It was the foundation upon which everything else was built. And now, finally, the galaxy could build upon it together, united by the knowledge that they were all inheritors of humanity's greatest gift, the wisdom to create responsibly and the courage to share that creation with the universe. The Cinder Dove jumped to hyperspace, carrying its crew toward new adventures in a galaxy forever changed by the revelation of its true history. Behind them, Vault 287 remained hidden in the silent nebula, its secrets shared, but its physical form protected, waiting for the day when the galaxy might truly be ready for the ultimate truths it still contained. Maya looked back once at the nebula through the rear viewport, then turned her attention to the star charts. Somewhere out there, other vaults waited. Other truths remained hidden, and she would be there to find them, not for profit or glory, but to ensure that humanity's true legacy continued to guide the galaxy toward its brightest possible future. The module on her desk pulsed, once a soft reminder of the journey that had brought them here. Then it went dark, its purpose fulfilled, leaving only the gentle hum of the ship's engines and the infinite promise of the stars ahead.